A tomb and the creation, chapter 7. Was a tomb a Higgs particle, a supernova, or a dung beetle? Alright, and as I normally do, I'm going to show you the page and got to put this joint down to read. Idea strand 6. Dead king is oldest god. Idea strand 10. Dead king is firstborn. Conceived in sky. Will regain original shape. Idea strand 107. Orion, Sirius, and deceased swallowed by Duat. Deceased receives power from Orion, Nut, Bor, deceased, and Ra. Conceived in the sky, the deceased king is the successor of the oldest one, or the firstborn son of the creator god Atum. In the full version of Coffin Text 335 is a speech by Atum. He states that he commanded the warship of the gods to be built, and Ra is in it. This is an obvious reference to the sun god's bulk, which Atum authorized. The text then informs us that the Eye of Ra is born yesterday from the celestial cow, who is the sacred eye. The sky goddess Nut, one of the oldest deities in the Egyptian pantheon. It is described as a celestial cow that bore the gods in Coffin Text 77. What can we infer from this? We could say that Atum, Ra, and Nut are all celestial eyes of generation. We have already compared Atum's kindling of his fiery blast as the sneeze or spitting out that represents an explosive burst from a supernova. The deceased states that the stream is spat out for me in Coffin Text 190. That he was not conceived, but Atum spat me out, there at Coffin Text 76. That he has assumed the forms of Atum. This would suggest that Nut, the sacred eye and mother, represents the heavenly mass of stars that seed the cosmos by star death, with elements for life or the forms of Atum. The deceased sun god states, "O Nut, through the seed of the God which is in you, it is I who am the seed which is in you." Right there at the pyramid text at 536. Further, the text supports that this seed, that is the elements generating the deceased sun god, is from Orion, possibly Betelgeuse. With Ra born from the celestial cow or stars, we have another deity representing the same phenomenon, a stream or spitting out from the stars, what modern astrophysics call a cosmic ray. From this, we could conclude that this is the first eye related to the activities of the stars. This seems reasonable in that 6th dynasty pyramid texts implore Nut to install every god who has a bulk as an imperishable star in the sky. Drawings of the sky goddess Nut depict her body covered in stars, suggesting the spotted effect produced by a leopard's coat. Hence, we have the references to great ones receiving their leopard skin that was talked about in Coffin Text 49, and the deceased's garment being a leopard skin. And Pyramid Text 225. So what we have decoded up until now is Ra, Atum, and Nut equal eyes or stars of generation. And leopard skins with spots equal stars of generation. The ancient pantheon. From the hieroglyphs forming their names, the Akdo is the oldest company of 8 deities, personifying aspects or phases of properties of primeval matter before creation. Right, and we're gonna get a quick glimpse of that page and this page. Take y'all on through here real fast. Take a screenshot real fast because I'm not gonna be on it. That's our new Matrix 3. All right, and we're gonna read off the gods. Nu, god of the watery mass of the sky. Nut, female counterpart of Nu. Hehu, atmosphere between heaven and earth. Hehut, female counterpart of Hehu. Ka, male power of darkness covering primeval water. Kakite, female power of darkness. You see the T's are the consorts. Ker, inactive power of primeval water abyss. And Kerhet, female counterpart. While the Akdo was worshipped primarily in Kamu, 8 town, which is the meaning of Kamenu, Atum was worshipped at Heliopolis and is one of the several solar creator deities. A self-emerging creator god, his name is derived from the verb tim or timim, to complete, or the one who did not come to being yet. The double meaning of Atum's name shows that he was at once an absolute being and absolute non-being, combining with himself these contrasting opposites, which can easily be compared to the status of a star that dies in a supernova explosion. It was, then it was not, but it still is. Atum emerges from primeval chaos in the shape of a serpent. Pyramid Text 527 states that Atum produced his twin children Shu and Tefnut through the autogenous act of masturbation, whereas other passages say Atum sneezed out Shu, the god of air, and Tefnut, the goddess of moisture. Recall that during the supernova explosion, the core stiffens, causing the collapse of the core so abruptly that it rushes out. The activity is similar to the Egyptian metaphor of sneezing and ejaculation. After Shu and Tefnut came the earth god Geb and the sky goddess Nut, followed by the children of Nut, 2 pairs of twins, Osiris and Isis, and Seth, and Nephthys, Hathor. Thus, the god Atum self-generated the 8 deities comprising the Ennead of Heliopolis. That is, the cosmic elements necessary for creation. However, the primeval Atum may represent more than a supernova explosion. He may represent an earlier activity in our cosmological past. Similar to Atum's actions, our standard model of particle physics predicts the heavy Higgs particle H, generating all particle masses. From a cosmological perspective, relative to the evolution of the universe, Atum as primeval matter, or the one who did not come to being yet, the one in a state of repose or inactivity, can be compared to the original mass generating mechanism. Atum's spitting or sneezing may reflect what inflationary cosmologists cosmologists, cosmologists call a brief swelling of the spatial dimension in the early universe. On a quantum scale, a tomb and his four primordial aspects may represent the dark, empty space of an atom in a state of repose before nucleation, before entropy increases, and the beginning of the creation of our universe. A tomb states that he begot the chaos god in charge of the chambers of the sky in Coffin Text 76. The second law of thermodynamics concerns any real process that proceeds in a direction which results in an entropy increase. The continual references throughout the Coffin text to chaos gods supports the idea that the octo of four male/female sets represent the primordial aspects of a tomb, or an initial set of conditions that could result in an entropy increase, the boundlessness, watery mass, the power of darkness over this watery abyss, the inactive power of the waters and the atmosphere. The Egyptians called this watery mass Nu, or Nu, where the spear of life floated like a bubble. McBride in 2002 in his book on page 276 explained. Still, we must remember that Atum's realm is the region of dwarfs on the Planck scale world, which some cosmologists believe existed before the inflationary period that preceded the Big Bang. So go and check that one out on YouTube. The inflationary period that preceded the Big Bang. All right. A foundation in my heart. In addition to Atum's primordial genitive status, the creator god had a royal problem. Atum states that before the primeval Enid existed, he could find no place to stand or sit, for his throne had not yet been put together in Coffin Text 80. This was a time before Nu, or the starry sky, had been created, before the primeval Enid had come into being. Atum then said to Nu, god of the watery mass of the sky, I am on the floodwaters, being very weary, and the partitions are inert. Then the text states that the earth god Gad gathered together Atum's weary members, suggesting the idea of molecular self-assembly at earth. The text states, stand upon it, this earth which issued from Atum. Pyramid Text 222. This idea of the formation of a foundation, a throne, a seat for a tomb, can also be found in a second account from a papyrus written for a Panopolis priest about 312 BCE entitled The Book of Knowing, the Evolutions of Ra and the Overthrowing of Pepi. Evolutions is Kapuru, from the Egyptian root kapur, meaning to produce, to form, to become, and in a derived sense, to roll. The creator god Kapura, aka Atum Re, or Re Atum, Kanam and Ta in different names, is symbolized by the coprophagi beetle, noted for its ability to lay eggs in dung that it rolls into a circular form. The Egyptians associated the sun disk with the beetle dung ball, which is bacterial. So we have Kapura as a beetle pushing the dung ball, or simulating the solar wind pushing on the Earth's system. The papyrus text reports that Kapura came into being and raised up the creation from Nu out of the state of inactivity. All along, Kapura, like Atum in the Coffin text account, then could not find a place to stand. The God said, I worked a charm upon my heart. I laid a foundation in my, made every form. So both the Coffin text and the Papyrus text accounts claim the foundation of forms signified by a throne in the former text was necessary to support the God's creation. These meta symbols point to the following ideas. Foundation in heart equal core elements created in stars forming DNA. Creator gods Atum, Khepera, Ra, and the beetle equal creative force from star, and beetle dung ball equal bacteria cell or earth. The rightful order of the universe. The word Ma'at means truth, rightful order, with the goddess Ma'at personified as truth and reference in both creation accounts. We could say that the self-emerging god Atum or Khepera was therefore laying down a plan or foundation according to law, truth, and rightful order. Ma'at for his soon to emerge creation before the emission of Shu and Tefnut. Khepera creates a foundation of forms in his heart, signified by a throne for him to sit on, before the creation of gods or men. Then he self-produced Shu, the air, and Tefnut, the moisture, and from the watery mass of Nu, his eye of generation arises, that is, a cold light star that dies, producing the elements in its core that seed the universe. Another way of looking at this is that DNA exists in the dark, empty space of a primordial atom that begins to nucleate, producing 2 atomic nuclei or gods, then 4, 8, and so on. DNA replication or prokaryote binary fission. And finally, human beings from its eye or heart of creation. In the same fashion, a double-stranded molecule of DNA is copied into 2 double-stranded daughters. This process continues, 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, 1/16, and so on, as the original DNA diminishes. DNA is a self-replicating generic material that is transcribed into an unstable messenger nucleic acid, RNA, which is then translated into proteins, which is then translated into proteins. This is the central dogma of gene expression, DNA to RNA to protein. We can extend this idea further by the following proposal, remembering that equal represents points too. All right, so we have foundations of form equal throne equals DNA to RNA to protein equals humans. Objective 4 completed. The textual evidence indicates the deceased possesses quantum consciousness and non-locality, features essential to the quantum cellular or dwarf afterlife of the pharaohs. We can also conclude that the development of Atum and his creation parallels cellular nucleation, DNA replication, and prokaryote binary fission, again indicating that the Egyptian afterlife exists at a quantum level. With the completion of Objective 4, we can assemble Matrix 3 to test the validity of our model, Matrix 2. We can conclude that Matrix 3 provides support of genetic cloning, phage morphology, quantum consciousness, and non-locality. Also, our analysis of Egyptian creation accounts points to modern theories on the cosmogenesis of the cosmogenesis of our universe.